Hi, my name is Lou Story, and I'll be teaching the class The Psychology of Character Transformation. What that really means is that I'll be using psych models and theories that have been developed basically in the last 150 years, even though they have roots even further back, to help writers really make sure that the actions of their characters make sense. There are really beautiful models that have been built that I used in my practice as a psychotherapist, and I also use when I'm writing about my characters. And I don't know if you've ever had the experience, certainly happens a lot with television programs, but it can happen in writing as well, where you suddenly discover a character does something that doesn't quite make sense, even though the music soars if it's a TV show, or that it's really taking the plot somewhere that the writer wanted it to go, but the character doesn't really go along with it, and that can really harm. Certainly with reading, the reader says, well, that's not really believable, or something about it doesn't really touch them. So how do you do that? How do you make transformation that's believable? Well, these models show us that, and they really give very clear guidelines. We also will be looking at types of situational life dilemmas that happen at very certain points in life. The infant versus the adolescent versus the senior. They have very different criteria as to how they're reacting to the world. So I tend to look at it almost like a kaleidoscope. People are very different, but we're all made up of the same parts. They just configure differently. And if you really have a grasp on what the various configurations are for your characters, you can make them do extraordinary things. And it can be believable, and it can really touch people deeply. And that really is what we want as writers. I'm very excited to do this with a group of people because there is, the saying that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. What each of the writers will bring to these models is going to be quite wonderful, and what they can share with each other. And, these models were made to be grown upon. They're meant to be catalysts for creativity, and among a group, we'll really have a lot of chance to learn from each other.